Oh, get right, church.
Get right, church.
Oh, get right, church.
Get right, church.
Let us get on, no. Get right, church.
Get right, church.
Just a few more days to go.
Judgment's in the air.
I see
Sign
the
of judgment's in the air. Sign of judgment, sign of seaside, sign of judgment.
Hey, I'm Kevin Barnes.
Get right,
If you love acapella singing, you can appreciate the guests that we have today. They've influenced most of the groups that you see performing today. I deem them as the first family of acapella, and I'm talking about no other than the Lemon Five, and that's who we have with us today. How y'all doing? Okay. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of people don't know you by name, they know the Lemon Five, so I'm gonna have you all introduce yourselves.
I'm Darryl Brown.
Donis Lemon.
Darlene Lemon,
Royce Lemon.
Joyce Brown.
I want to tell you why I have you all here today. One of the reasons is that you all been singing a long time. How many years?
50 plus.
About 50 plus. So you started well into the 60s. Well into the 60s. So there's a new pharaoh that know not the Lemon Five. And so I wanted to put this on tape really because there are so many of our patriarchs now that are passing away, or when they get older they have dementia or Alzheimer's. They can't really, relate the things that happen. So I wanted to make sure that I documented some things because there is a gap now between the history and the church. And I really believe that God was concerned about the history being connected in the church. And I think that we're kind of doing a poor job because what we do is we tear down places that we used to live and places we used to serve at, so this younger generation can't relate to what you're talking about because they don't see it. That's why they left that little building in Detroit, that little Motown building. Yeah, so you go in there, it's the ghost of, future past. When they go in, they can, say Marvin Gaye's song right here. It's a supreme song right here. But in the church, we can't say that this group started this, and the reason this is happening because somebody made a sacrifice. So that's why I have this, and I call this program because honor is due. Because honor is due. Honor is not meant to be played out in a funeral. It's supposed to be for the living. So that's why I have you all here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have all of you, but I have enough. So tell me how the group started. What was it like living in a household where the family could sing?
It was very interesting. We sort of developed a knack for singing, probably by way of having church in the house. When we go home, we'd have somebody would be the preacher, somebody would be the song leader, and then the rest would be the audience. And so we probably started similar to that, and then it developed into something that probably we didn't expect as people heard about us through the avenues of churches, and then they started putting us on programs. And as we developed and growing and developed our voices little by little, we became known as group singers, and we started together all of the brothers, actually 4 of us, and so we would sing because we had the voices for the soprano, the alto, the tenor, and the bass, such as it was at our young age. And so we started from there, and then before long, people knew us as the Lemon Boys or something, Lemon Singers.
But once, back then, there was not a push for singing.
Correct.
There was not a push. People really didn't want to do that. So did somebody push you in that direction, or did you decide among yourselves that what you want to do?
Well, at one time, no one pushed us in the beginning, but the more we were seen or we were out and people heard it, the more they started talking about y'all ought to be singing in other places besides singing here. That was the place where we lived in Third Ward. We lived in this apartment upstairs, and we would sing. We get in the window and sing out to the neighborhood folk, and whoever, whether anybody was listening or not, we would just sing. And this lady downstairs heard about us, and she invited us down to her place under us, and she would have us just come in and just start singing just for her. And so we started to learn, and then we're pretty good at this, because if she saw it and noticed it, then the folk at churches noticed it, then maybe this could go somewhere. And so we started to really looking at developing ourselves more.
How did Sister get in the group, since they were all guys? How did you recruit that?
She was what?
She recruited us.
She recruited us.
Yeah, we first, laughing, teasing about it. We said that she was jealous of us because we were getting the attention and all, but it wasn't that. She had a great voice as well, and so a lot of times we needed that soprano voice. And so, hey, we're all family anyway, so she joined us, and then we said, well, now we need to put a name to it, because there's 5 of us. We got it pretty much balanced, and so that is where we started, and here we are.
I remember
From there.
I remember at the church, it was in the 60s, and somebody was in the hall and said that you all had started naming yourself the Lemon Five. That was right out when the Jackson Five came out. And they were, people had some criticism about that. The Lemon Five, that sound like, the Jackson Five, where you get that name from. Because back then it was really strict.
That's true.
They didn't want no sense of the world,
That's true.
So when you all came out with that name, it stuck, but I used to hear little whispers, about that, because the other thing is, the history of family groups is always some sort of curse in there. It's, the bars, the Silvers, it's something. But I used to wonder how you all stuck it out, because I know a lot of families that can sing, even in the church. I know a lot of families that can sing. They just can't stick it out.
Well, the name did stick, even with the criticism and the little murmurings. It stuck so well because we identified with what people thought was good with the Jackson Five. It was a family group. They were good, they were up and coming, and it looked like they were going somewhere. And so little by little, we just ignored it and kept on singing. And after a while, everybody gravitated to it, embraced it, and never heard it anymore.
And actually, we didn't name ourselves Big Junior. Samuel Melton
Oh.
did that. He
That's
was
right.
the one
That's
that
right.
came up with that idea, because he said, y'all can sing, Jackson 5, they're singing, they're family, just like you were saying. Yeah, I'm going to name y'all the Lemon 5.
And he did.
And that's what he did.
I tell people when they're doing something, they don't have time to observe
Right.
what they're doing. We do that. We observe.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's misconceptions,
Yeah.
because we didn't see you all a lot. Saying you wasn't overrated, you weren't overexposed. There was no sort of filming back then. If they didn't see you, then they missed it. There was no starting over. You all sung, got off the stage, you missed it.
Right.
There was no encores. Even though people said one more, and you get off stage.
That come from our mother.
For real.
Yes. You get up, do what you got to do,
Sit down.
just sit down. I don't care if they're saying keep going. People get tired of hearing that. Sit up, get up there, and don't get up there and stumble by what you're going to say. You ought to know what you're saying when you get up there. So don't get up there congregating. That's what she called it. You get up there and sing and stand still. You don't do all that rocking and reeling. And that's where it comes from. So you get up there, and I'm gonna be in the audience, and you don't want me to stand up and say nothing.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean by observation. Because when they would say that, you would always just walk off,
There you go.
like ignore the church and just go sit down.
We had our orders.
Yeah, most of them.
And no, what I'm saying is nobody said that.
Correct.
Nobody said that. You know. So they see you all over a period of time, and then now comes the first album, Get Right Church.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you all know what that album did? Do you
Right
have any
then.
sense?
I think it changed some things. It changed. It changed the persona of group singing. Honestly,
Okay, it did that.
it did that.
It did that. But did you realize how other people saw that when that came out? Because everybody didn't make albums.
Right.
There were 3 major albums at that time. You had you all's album, that Blue album they had in Southwestern, and the Family album, not Family, some other album they did in Dallas, and they had the Tabernacles. But when that came out, I remember we were tugging on our mama to buy that album. I don't care if I could get my lunch money, buy that album. And we went home and put that thing on the record player. And the first song was Get Right Church. Because I didn't see you all sing a lot, so it means I didn't hear James Arthur a lot. Okay? And something had changed in the group that caught me off guard too. You used to sing tenor. And Waylon was the
Well, it
bass.
was the bass. That's right.
And when they came out, you were bassing.
That's right.
And y'all threw Waylon over in tenor land.
He fitted better, yeah. So it was all about who fitted well the best in a particular place. You remember we were in an era at that time where segregation changing, where a lot of times people didn't believe, they didn't think that they could actually produce an album.
Right.
And, we were sort of modest that, we're not that good, we're not that good at trying to put an album together that people will really buy. And so living in that era, it was hard to fantasize the idea of producing an album, pretty much like children. We were so young, we were just like children, so it was far fetched.
Who encouraged y'all in the producing of that album?
Freeman Watch.
It was our preacher. He was the preacher
Producer.
at Third Ward Church of Christ. It was him that just,
Fascinating.
Just said you're gonna do it.
yes. Yeah. He was so adamant about it. And he said, and we said, well, we don't have the money. He said, well, don't y'all worry about the money. I'll figure out we're gonna get this done. We're gonna make it happen. And sure enough, he did, because we didn't believe that it probably could be done. But he said, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm going to make it happen.
We didn't believe we were actually that good. Because I would always say, even though people are clapping and carrying on, don't fall for that.
Yeah.
Because everybody is not being for real. I mean,
Right.
yeah, you can sing, but it's always somebody better.
Right.
So don't let that go to your head.
Yes, gave the water. Jesus gave the water. Jesus gave the water. Gonna let it spread, spread. Jesus gave the water.
So, back then, and that's what I'm talking about when I say trendsetters. Because people pop out CDs like this now.
Yeah.
Rush it out.
Yeah.
So when you all were recording, how long did it take?
I don't think we even went
But
to that
once-
album but once. The
but
first album. I think we did.
That's
that.
what I'm talking about, the first
Yeah, the first one we did that. We did that in one.
One tape, one session?
I don't remember y'all going back.
I don't know going
They
back.
didn't. I
We
was
didn't go
about to
back.
say they didn't.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
One time.
Because we had gotten it together before we got there, we were practicing and not necessarily having a lot of fun then, because you have something to do and you want this to be good. You don't want to get out there and this man spend his money and all this kind of stuff, that doing all this, so you want to be the best that you can be.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, that's why because that's kind of unheard of. It took Heaven So Real 5 months. Because, you know, when you go into to produce an album, you have to leave egos at the door. Somebody has been in charge and said, we're going to do this, and we're going to do it right, be prepared, and then get it done. You know, because you're on somebody else's dime.
Right.
You know, so when you have that, you know, a lot of times somebody don't show up, somebody's late and all that kind of, so you all kind of governed yourselves
Pretty much,
to get that,
yes.
you know.
Yeah.
you-
And one thing, we didn't want to disappoint Brother White
Right.
because he was all in, you know, and like she said, we weren't that confident about the whole thing, and so with his belief was pushing us to do it the best we can because he was totally sold on the idea that you all can become a group and we can actually develop an album that will sell. And here's what he did. He finally told me some years later after he left the city. He said that he actually went around and took orders before we even recorded it. He took orders and
That's
said
right.
that
It
when
was
I put
rumored,
this
it was
together-
rumored, and that's right, it was rumored, and they were already, people were already taking orders.
Already
Wow.
paying for it ahead of
We went to
time.
Miami for his thing.
Yeah.
He did say
That was
did
seed money.
That's right.
That actually was able to get the thing formalized.
Wow.
That's exactly what happened.
Now, you know, everybody, you know, I sat in a lot of group practices. You alls are the funniest. Because y'all make humorous jokes before you get ready to sing. You know, it's like when you're on stage, it's like y'all at home. Y'all hitting each other like this here. No, I'm not singing it. Sing that. Especially when James was on stage. Y'all, it's just like y'all was in y'all's living room. So if you all were practicing, how would practice go at home? Just do a short song and show us how practice goes.
Most of the time, what we would do was we would think of one of those groups that was already on the album, one of those like the Five Blind Boys or one of them, and then somebody would hit the note and then everybody just jump in behind it and just pick it up and carry it on.
Harold.
Yeah, that's what would happen. Oh, get right, church.
Get right, church, yeah.
Game was born and soon to blow. Get right, church.
Get right, church.
Let us get on one accord. Get right, church.
Get right, church.
Just a few more days to go. My brother
Judgment's in the air.
I see the
Judgment's in
sun
the air.
everywhere.
Signs on the seaside.
Oh, get right, church, and call on the name of the Lord. And that's basically what we were doing.
Okay.
Sometimes we sing the whole song. Sometimes we would just stop and somebody say something silly and we laugh. Cut it off.
Okay. Where's your pitch pipe?
We wouldn't know how to blow it.
We couldn't afford what? Pitch pipe.
Just built in. Built in.
Yeah, because I see groups a lot of times, you know, they got the little phones, you know,
No, we didn't have a pitch pipe.
and I never saw you all.
And
with
if
the
they
pitch
pitched it
pipe.
wrong, we just sing it, and then later on say, you pitched this song.
Just song.
Yeah.
I seen y'all for at least 50 years. I never saw you start over.
Oh, that was a no-no.
That's where I got that from.
Oh,
Remember,
no,
you was
that's
group,
a
I said, no.
No, you don't start
I
over.
don't care where it is, you go get
better
it.
find your.
You better find it.
On the spot.
Don't start over. It was embarrassing.
Right.
And my mother didn't want to be embarrassed. And we didn't want to embarrass her because we were going to have to hear about
Because
it.
if this is what you gonna have to do, I'll make
Yeah,
y'all
y'all
sit
just sit
down.
down.
Sometimes we look at the artist and say, is mother here? Is mother here?
You better not mess this up.
Yep, there she is, right there. She's just
Yeah.
sitting there.
Well, I'm gonna let you all in on a secret, okay? And Darryl can witness to this, because we sung in the same group. They were frightened to death to sing in front of y'all. Shit Acres, of course.
They were frightened to sing in front of, with us in the audience.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Because it was like singing on The Voice. Yeah, sure. Because you could, everybody else, because sometimes noise is in the audience. It didn't matter if noise is in the audience. Y'all can sit like that, that's off. That is not right.
We were intimidated.
It was like that. No,
Yeah.
it's not like, it's not that you came out and said anything.
Right.
But we knew that you all, you know, you got this movie called Pitch Perfect. Y'all were like that. And you could tell if we hadn't practiced, they, you don't need to sing that, that ain't working.
That ain't the right song for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, see,
Yeah.
that's the thing when with the groups coming up, watching them, listening. I'd be at practice sometime when they would be at practice, having practice, and they would just start the song, and everybody just got where they were supposed to get, and it wasn't no, you didn't hear no bad notes.
Right.
So then when you started singing with other groups, and then they started the song off, and you'd be like, wait a minute, what was that? And you used to say, well, you can't do that. You can't do that. Like,
I would have to stop.
I'm like, hold it, man,
and we got
somebody is
to the
wrong.
point, and we got to the point, like you all, that was our criticism. And we'd be in the middle of the song, he would say, whoa, 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 stop. And so new people that were in the group didn't understand that.
Yeah.
I said, no, that's the way we have practice. You know, we are like this here at each other, and then we get it right. You know, it wasn't no, baby, come on, you can do it. No, whoa, that is not right. And they couldn't, and so they, you know, had their feelings on their
Tell the
sleeves.
person who it was. I used to say, don't chastise the whole group. Let's just get that person and say,
And then, you know, then he would do stuff like, okay, you, and you sing this.
Okay.
We'll find out who it is.
That's the way you find
Yeah,
out.
that's,
Yeah.
And we would have, and so a lot of times people didn't understand, they would see the finished product when we were singing. But we had to go through that. You know, we just didn't allow, you know, that, we could kick you
But
out of here.
years ago, that was the way groups were started. You didn't just say, I want to be in this group, and you just come on up here and sing. No, I'm going to take you. Again, I need a soprano, an alto, a tenor, and a bass.
Yeah.
Now, y'all,
Get the
you
song
sing it.
required, yeah.
So that you let everybody knew then. Oh, okay, well, wait a minute, we got to work with you. And it wasn't no embarrassing because we're trying to help, we're having a group, we're trying to do this performance and whatever we're doing, so we can't have you up here all off.
And if you were honest and you hear yourself singing,
Right.
you know, little four or five people at a time, when you hear yourself, then you gotta just own, okay, that's me. Y'all, what do I need to do?
What do I need to do?
How do I, yeah. And that way then nobody's accusing or nobody's indicting anybody, you know, and it keeps harmony and love in the group.
And the reason why I called, you know, I was kind of kidding, I said the first family of Acappella because y'all never solicit outside help.
Oh, you mean like adding somebody else to the
Yeah, you know,
singing?
you'll have a family group, you have about 3 or 4 people that's related, and then they'll have somebody else, and they have somebody else in there. But you all full family, and there was no outside help. We didn't go get this
That
person,
was-
because this person can sing good, let's put him in our group.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, that doesn't work.
It was strictly family. So your chemistry was never interrupted,
Exactly.
never interrupted.
And that's what it was. We had a chemistry that everybody couldn't adopt to
Right.
so easily.
Mhm.
And so to keep from hurting somebody's feelings or whatever, making it seem like we were so good, so great, we just wouldn't even entertain
Even
that.
if family say, I'm gonna sing with y'all, what you got? Let me hear you say, come on,
Right.
lead, start the song.
Yeah.
That's okay
But see, we can talk about each other.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people outside can't take that.
Right.
Right.
And it'll split you up.
Yes.
It'll split you up. So no spouses,
No.
first family,
So,
and that was it.
That's it.
That was it.
Well, I heard that Jack was up smoking about the fighting of the Messiah. Rolling ready, it's like a right on high. And you hear the man cry.
And some of us, as we do, we have children that actually can sing with us.
Yeah.
But would not or chose not to, whatever. But some of them actually could blend really well. For instance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it wasn't that we didn't want outside people, they couldn't adapt in a lot of cases to what we were doing.
We didn't need it.
We didn't need it, okay.
Yeah, you all had a specific sound,
Right.
you know. Now, the guys singing, you know, always said that Sister Joyce Brown was the tone. That was a Lemon Five's tone.
Mm.
Because if I put all the guys together and I let them sing, I wouldn't say that's a Lemon Five. I said, who is that? So if I had some guys here, some guys here, some guys here, I may know it's, figure out that's Royce leading or James Arthur.
Yeah,
But when I tone of the Lemon Five,
you listen for yours.
I would hear her tone. And you can tell it because when she would take lead, the tone
Yeah.
was different.
Hers was out front.
Yeah, right. You know, she just had that unique, you know, and her son tried to mimic her tone. Talking about the other one. He would try to mimic his mother's tone. Yeah. So, I want you to tell our audience something that they may not know as far as, because we're in a global era now. Tell me about James Arthur.
Man.
Where you start?
let me be first. If I had to rate singing in the church with all the singers that I've heard, you know, he just wasn't recorded like the rest of them. Pound for pound, he could sing anything.
Yeah.
Everybody else sings good and everything, but they got their limitation. He could sing anything. Naturally. No practice, just wail it out, and that was it.
James could sing country western.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He made a
Country western.
tape.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm like, who does that?
yeah. But what I'm saying is because he's your brother and he's so close, you know, it becomes just,
That's
okay,
James Arthur.
yeah, it's James Arthur, you know. But there's only a few people that I was in awe with. And when you got married, we were at rehearsal. And I don't think it was nobody there but I think you and Waylon. And he sung Unchained Melody. And you all were just sitting on the pulpit like the seal humming. And we were practicing, I was in line like this here. And he sung it like with such ease. And I was just sitting there just staring at him.
Couldn't even practice.
No, I was just staring at him. You know, but he didn't think anything about it. And that's the thing, traveling him, his jokes and everything, but he didn't think anything about his competition in singing. He just singing. A lot of people don't appreciate it because they hear people now.
Right.
And so I gauged that when a guy's singing, I said, boy, if James Arthur was alive, because his voice didn't need no microphone.
Right.
True.
He'd be way over there in the corner, and you could hear him. And it'd be nothing like the singing in the congregation, nothing.
Yeah.
He was a wonder.
Yeah. You could hear James' voice in the back of the audience, and you knew that was him.
Yeah. He was like y'all Michael Jackson.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
It was like losing y'all Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You know. And then how does the family like cope with that, and how do they stay together? Because sometimes when groups lose a key person, that's it.
Right.
Well, we embraced it because, in that area, he was the best. And everybody knew he was the one. He's the best. And there was a certain song that was just automatic. That's for him. And there was a certain other song that wasn't for him. It was for somebody else. And so, we rode with that because that's where it belonged. He was the best for certain areas. And so we didn't have no problem giving respect to that. But at the same time, we practiced and learned to be versatile in a way where if one is out or if one is missing, then somebody else knows how to not do exactly like him, but do it well enough where we could be represented well.
And
So
we had to do that,
We had to do it.
even before he passed away.
That's true.
One time he went crazy. I mean, you know, he went
Yeah.
crazy.
He did the Eddie.
Got off the track.
Yeah, he got off the track.
Okay.
That's where Junior came in. And then that's when we also realized most of the songs that we were singing
He would
was
lead.
James
All
Brown.
centered around
So then
him.
we had to try, you know, okay, if he's not going to act right, that's not going to stop this. We're not going to just not do it. So then Junior came in and he got close, you know, to where James Arthur was. And he moved on. So when he passed away, then we already
You
knew
already had it.
how, yeah.
Yeah. But one thing about it, see, I'm saying things about secrets. You taught me that. You taught me that in the group I was directing. And we called them ruffians. we always came up with a ruffian in the group. And you say, hey man, you just move on, you bring somebody else, take their place, and you keep going. And people, you know, didn't like that because they thought they were unmoved.
Right.
And you-
Close your eyes.
Yeah.
And see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing stops.
Yeah, and that taught me that, but I wish, you know, I could really explain the impact that he had on singers, and that he didn't even know. He didn't know, because you all, when people got married, you all were part of the marriage, because y'all were the wedding group.
Yeah, one time.
You know, nobody outsourced the wedding in the church. You know, it was at the church.
Mhm.
Nobody outsourced the wedding and played records and all that kind of stuff. And most of them, you know, they would recruit you all to do the wedding. And it was the solemn feeling in that wedding. Because the old building was wood, so you could hear the sound.
Yeah.
You could hear the sound. The acoustics was just off the chain in there. But you all were the wedding singers. And they were more mesmerized with the wedding songs than it was the bride coming down. When people got married, those were iconic weddings where you all sung. And it was part of that ceremony which made that wedding great. You know, because there was nobody else that could do it. A couple of times the Tabernacles when they first on, you know, but it wasn't nothing like you all. Because y'all had y'all set wedding song, and if they asked you to sing something, request, y'all would go over and learn it. We never did hear it till that night. And people would be waiting on it. And they see him, I'm seeing James Arthur can sing this, and he'd blow it out the park. You know, so people, they really kind of missed that era. You know, you all were on time, there wasn't no clowning, you uniform, boom, 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 and it was through. So, you know, now, you know, people have to get into productions now to have, you know, weddings outside. But it was just simple and clear, and crystal clear when you all did weddings. And then after that, you all did a Valentine banquet. Because the first time you said you were going to do a Valentine's banquet, like, nobody had done that.
And we were like, I don't think it's gonna work.
Nobody had done that.
You think people gonna come?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Say these people not gonna come.
People
Yeah.
are not gonna come.
But they figure you're gonna be singing other stuff.
Yeah, because that meant you're not singing gospel songs.
Right.
Now you're singing
Right.
secular.
Right. Yeah, I let my wife look at it last night, and she said, how come they singing all the songs? I said, it's their banquet. She said, oh. Yeah, I said, because we put on a banquet, we did a birthday party for her, and, you know, put that on, and we know how much work is in it, you know, but it went off, you know, like that, and I said, now you got to understand, this is back in, what, 80?
Yeah. That'd be 80s.
Yeah, this is the 80s, and this is the first time trial. See, you can watch somebody else's on YouTube and everything and pick out what you need to do, but you all first
Yeah.
time.
Right.
And then it comes out like that. So afterwards, you ought to notice here, some other groups came up, younger groups, and they said that they're going to put on one.
Right.
And there was going to be like prom night. You know, of course, you know, they were going to, you know, try to be, you know, a new edition or something.
Yeah.
You sing it to the girls, but you also was classy. It wasn't meant for that. And I used to always use a verse that would say, this too can become sin. Because the intent of why you all did it, somebody else picked up another reason to try to do the same thing. And then all of a sudden, you know, well, we need to stop doing Valentine's Day. But they done kill the intent of why we did it. And that's what happens to a lot of programs. Because if you don't give the intent of why you're doing it, somebody else will pick it up for fame.
Right.
And then you're done.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it anymore.
Because we didn't do it for the money or nothing.
Right.
It was just.
It
let's do
wasn't,
this.
it wasn't to be showy, it wasn't to be flamboyant and all of that.
Right.
It was for the sincerity of what it is we are doing.
And to give members of the church, quote unquote, something to do other
Something to do.
than,
Right.
you know,
That's correct.
and let them know
That's
it's
correct.
okay. You can do this. You know, bring your wife, your husband, your
Yeah.
boyfriends, and all this.
Yeah, yeah,
Because people want to know what y'all gonna sing at the Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
Because why we sing with church songs.
right.
Right.
Just come and see.
Come and see.
Mhm.
Come and see.
Yeah. He showed us, I also saw New Year's Eve programs. You all did the commercials. Long time ago, that's what I'm trying to say.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. That's why I said when you all used to perform, nobody knew. Everybody was waiting because something, you're gonna do something. It was gonna be something new. And then you did all these commercials.
That was the whole family too.
Yeah. These commercials. You know, and you would do it at home, and then you would come bring it to church, and then that was it. You missed it, you missed it, that was it.
Don't do that no more.
That was it, you know. So you didn't water it down by continuing to do it. Nobody sent it viral and anything like this. You did it with all the humility, you know, for just that night, and that was it.
We didn't do it no more.
Didn't do it anymore.
Well, it was better sometimes to not continue to push some things because people will take it out of context or
Right.
you reinvent it or try to ad lib it and add something and then it becomes something else that it didn't intend to be in the beginning. So that's just the way we were. And like as far as mother was concerned, there were limits and you don't cross the boundary. And so we never ventured off into some of the way that the groups are doing nowadays, with a lot of bippity boppity boopy and, you know, excuse the expression, but it was a lot of hoopla. We weren't allowed to even consider that because we didn't want to embarrass mother for sure. And we wanted to keep it where it was respectful, especially to the older folk who enjoy it the most maybe, and those who down the line would learn to appreciate it as well.
What was it like to, you know, sometimes groups transform when you brought Daryl into the group?
What was what?
What was it like?
How did Daryl get?
No, but I think Daryl was like an easy
Transition?
It was easy.
It was an easy transition.
Was that when Waylon went
That was when
No,
Jay
Jay
Garth-
Garth
Jay
had
Garth-
another,
Yeah,
Eddie Kane a little bit, so. And then I think Junior had started working,
Yeah.
working weekends and weird hours, so.
And then I had to go into a negotiation with him because he was already bringing me his lemon 5 schedule, and I was like, the group schedule, we would sit down. No, I can't do that. I'm busy on that day. But we used to work things out that way, you know, because if you all had a session or something to go to, then I would cancel that trip. I would. I just cancel out that trip because one thing about, you know, big groups are different. They have to have a core people, see, that you can depend on. So whether all the you know, the flack goes, you know, haywire, that core, I can still go sing. You know, and Darryl was a main part of that. So we would sit down and say, man, them five got to do that. When is that? Saturday? What date is that? Okay, we don't have to go there. But we're going here. Okay, I'll tell them. And he would go in and tell you all, hey, I got to go somewhere with the group. So we had that kind of mutual respect, you know, as far as groups. So that's why, you know, we got because we did everything, you know, outside. Thing about Shade Acres is that we did a lot of stuff outside. He and I bowled. So we had a lot of times to chat about different things and, you know, and work together on things. And that's one of the things that keeps the chemistry alive in the group, because singing is a stepping stone. So almost everybody here, your singing took you to another level of profession in the church. So, like right now, you see all of these, you know, singers, you know, after their career, you know, hit bottom, they run into the pulpit. Because ain't no money, they run into the pulpit. So you see more singers now turn into the ministry, but you all did that naturally. You know, so you didn't hang on to it desperately like some people just hang on to it singing and still trying to make it out there and still trying to cross over and stuff. You all just sung, but you went to other professions to help the church.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
As we wind this down, what legacy do you think you all left?
As a group,
You know, what do you think if I'm an observer, what do you think I should learn, and what do you hope that I've learned about the number 5?
We're still together.
I was about to say that.
We're still together. We don't sing all of the time, but we're still together
But if we have to say
if we have to.
But you have to say, you can just like you can drop it just like that.
People call now and say, hey man, can them 5 do, man, they retired.
He done retired.
That's what he did.
I'm tired.
I said, man, they old, man, they retired. But we're not dead. They
Right.
retired. They ain't saying no more.
My wife loves singing. I didn't say I didn't have too much of it, so but she wants to hear. Let's give a go out song.
so say may the work we've done.
There you go.
It's not gonna rhyme way down in
They're
there.
gonna ride way down in there.
All right then.
You just doing this.
May the work we've done speak for us. May the work we've done speak for us. When I'm resting in my grave, there is nothing that can be said. May the work we've done speak for us.
Hey, this has been a great time with the Lemon 5, and I really want them to know that I appreciate just knowing them. I think God blessed me just to be in a time to witness the Lemon 5. So this series is because honor is due, and I wanted to do this to make sure you all's legacy lives on. So I encourage you to go and investigate the Lemon 5, look at their music, support them, but also give them the praise for the sacrifices that they made. And to Royce, Daryl, Darlene, Donis, and Joyce, I just want to thank them. We had a great time. God bless.
Doesn't make my love so strong. Oh, why? Because God, He deemed it so. Oh, my darling angel, spread the wings over my head. Did it